Welcome back to my channel Techno Trend Zone. I'm glad to have you here for another exciting deep dive into the latest developments in the camera world, especially if you're a Canon shooter, an APS-C enthusiast, or a wildlife photographer. Looking for your next powerhouse? Strap in because today's topic is heating up faster than a sports car on a racetrack. Yes, we're about to explore the newest leaks, rumors, and potential features surrounding the upcoming Canon R7 Mark II, a camera that could seriously redefine what we expect from Canon's APS-C mirrorless lineup. For anyone who remembers Canon's legendary EF mount days, the 7D series was Canon's answer to the idea that APS-C cameras couldn't be professional tools. Those cameras were built like tanks, fast as lightning, and unapologetically bold. The 7D series proudly waved the flag for sports, action, and wildlife photographers who needed speed and reliability without jumping to the massive price tags of full-frame systems. Fast forward to today. Canon's mirrorless APS-C champion is the Canon R7, which quickly became popular among enthusiasts and semi-pros. It features a 32.5 megapixel sensor and an electronic burst rate of up to 30 frames per second. Many affectionately nicknamed it the Baby R3, but while the R7 was impressive, it didn't quite close the gap between crop sensor and professional flagship. But now? It seems Canon is preparing something that could truly earn that title. Canon R7 II leaks. Let's break down all the rumored specifications and upgrades for the Canon R7 II, based on the latest information floating around the camera community. There's a lot of buzz about this potential release, and it could become a top contender for wildlife photographers, action shooters, and content creators who want pro-level features in a more compact APS-C body sensor, a major step forward one. Of the most exciting whispers coming from the rumor mill is the possible introduction of a stacked, backside illuminated 32.5 megapixel sensor. This isn't just a small upgrade. This is huge. Stacked sensors allow for faster readout speeds, significantly reducing the infamous rolling shutter effect that can plague high-speed photography and video work. If you've ever tried to capture a bird in flight or a fast-moving race car with an electronic shutter, you know the frustration of warped wings and bending tires. A stacked sensor would minimize that and dramatically improve the shooting experience. BSI technology, on the other hand, enhances low-light performance and dynamic range, giving you cleaner images when you're shooting at higher ISOs or in dim conditions, perfect for wildlife photographers working during those golden hours or under challenging light. In simple terms, if this sensor rumor is true, the Canon R7 II could finally become a serious pro-level APS-C camera that holds its own in situations where speed, accuracy, and image quality are critical. Burst speed. When it comes to speed, the original R7 was no slouch, offering up to 30 frames per second in electronic shutter mode. But now, whispers suggest the Canon R7 II might push that to 40 FPS. Realistically, even the most action-packed scenarios rarely require that extreme speed. However, for sports and wildlife photographers, having that extra headroom could be the difference between nailing the perfect frame or missing it entirely. Of course, burst speed is only useful if the buffer can handle it. A common complaint with the original R7 was its limited buffer when shooting at maximum speed. It would often lock up or slow down after a short burst, particularly when using slower SD cards. This is where many users are demanding the inclusion of a CFexpress Type B card slot in the Mark II. A faster card slot would allow the camera to handle sustained bursts without hiccups, an essential upgrade for serious shooters. Autofocus, smarter, faster, sharper. Another area where Canon appears to be making serious improvements is autofocus performance. Reports suggest the Canon R7 II will integrate the same digic accelerator chip seen in the newer Canon R5 Mark II. What does that mean for you? Essentially, it boosts the AI-driven subject recognition and tracking algorithms, making it much easier to lock onto fast-moving subjects like birds, athletes, or racing vehicles and keep them in sharp focus, even when they're moving unpredictably. Bird photographers in particular have been hoping for this kind of upgrade, as Canon's subject detection system has consistently improved generation after generation. Having faster, more reliable autofocus could genuinely elevate the R7 II to a top-tier wildlife camera in its class. Video features. What to expect for content creators, videographers, and hybrid shooters. There are also exciting rumors about the Canon R7 II's video capabilities. The camera is expected to offer 7K oversampled 4K at 60p for incredibly sharp, detailed footage. 4K at 120p with a crop, perfect for those buttery slow-motion shots. 10-bit Canon Log 3 for increased dynamic range and flexibility in post-processing, possibly even Canon Log 2, though that might be wishful thinking since Canon typically reserves its flagship color profiles for higher-end cameras, for those hoping for 8K video or 240 frames per second in full HD. Sorry, that's probably not happening here. Canon tends to keep those premium features exclusive to their high-end models like the R5 or R3. Still, for an APS-C body, these video specs are very competitive and should be more than enough for most creators. Ergonomics, borrowing from the best. Another area where Canon seems to be listening to user feedback is ergonomics and handling. Reports indicate that the R7 may second incorporate the same improved design language seen on the newer Canon R5 Mark II. Expect a more comfortable grip for extended shooting sessions, improved button placement and tactile feedback, potentially an optional battery grip, a welcome addition for photographers who need extra battery life or a more balanced feel when using telephoto lenses. There are even hints that the R7 II could include active cooling vents, which would be a major benefit for video shooters battling overheating issues during long recording sessions or summer outdoor shoots. The electronic viewfinder is also rumored to get an upgrade to a 5.76 million dot display, offering a sharper, clearer preview of your scene, which is essential for both stills and video framing. Unfortunately, Canon probably won't include a fully articulating tilt-flip mechanism like Sony's newer flagship models. It's expected to stick with Canon's traditional flip-out vari-angle LCD. Price and release date predictions. Let's talk about what you'll likely pay for all of this. The original Canon R7 launched at around $1,499, but with these significant upgrades, the Canon R7 II is expected to come in closer to $1,899. Considering the rumored features and improved specs, this seems like a reasonable price point for what could essentially be a mini R3 without the flagship level cost. As for when you might actually see this camera on the shelves, the best guesses point to Q3 or Q4 of 2025. Some speculate that Canon may announce it in late summer or just before the fall, potentially targeting the busy holiday season. But of course, Canon is known for moving on their own timeline, so only time will tell. Final thoughts: is the Canon R7 II worth waiting for? If Canon truly delivers on the stacked sensor, faster burst speeds, improved buffer, upgraded autofocus, and refined ergonomics, the Canon R7 Mark II could become a massive hit, not just among Canon loyalists but also for photographers currently shooting on other brands who are considering switching systems.